I couldn't ask you about Liverpool without. Have you got any good Purple Aki stories? Welcome to episode 5 now of the podcast nobody's talking about. We've got a very special guest today in Palletwood Studios, a real live film star. It's Jake Abram, star of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, The Mean Machine, 51st State. So he's done so much stuff, more things you can shake a stick at. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Cheers for having me, Jimmy. Thanks.
I'm very, very excited and quite nervous to have you. We've only had people who eat frog shit and fucking go on about Bill Gates before, mad politicians and craft ale drinkers were just glorified alcoholics, really, kind of thing. But I'll tell you where I first met. I'll tell people where I first met Jake. My comedy career was going so well that I ended up distributing posters for Chubby Brown in Liverpool one day, and I saw Jake in an hairdresser's, recognised him, and I went up to him and said, "You're from Snatch, aren't you?" Which he wasn't, because I'm a bit of a fucking dozy bastard.
I was actually cutting hair then, wasn't I? I wasn't getting mine cut. I was actually doing hair.
It was that you was working there. Were you sweeping the hair up?
Yeah, I was
as well?
sweeping the hair up. Yeah,
and I mithered him, and I've been stalking him on Twitter and stuff for months, and sending him dick pics and everything like that. And eventually he's reneged, and we've got him in the studio to talk about his career, what's going on, and all that kind of thing. There's a tear in my eye. I'm not crying. It's just like kind of my eyes running. So
what you don't know is about the dick pics. Jimmy has got no pants on at the moment, and his dick is out now. Well, I make a lie.
I will family mark again, Colin. You know what I mean? They do this at the BBC.
Yeah.
Only they have no kid. They have no pants on. There's a kid under the desk.
That's right.
You know.
So how else are you going to get adrenochrome? You know?
We've ruined the podcast already, but that's kind of the nature of the thing. So, Mr. Jake, how did you get into acting? Was it accidental? Did it something you wanted to do?
It happened at school for me. I did a play at school. I played Nancy in Oliver in my Mars bra and a maxi skirt. I went for it properly, tights on. And I said to my mum, "Please don't let my dad come and see this." And I looked in the audience, and my dad was sitting there going. So I thought I'd do that. And from there, my school teacher recommended me to the Everyman Youth Theatre. And then that's how I got into it.
So that was where you learned your craft at the Everyman?
Yeah.
Well, playing you was kind of like a pioneer of the transgender movement, wouldn't you, really?
I was early. I was in there early, wasn't I? Early doors, yeah. Proud, yeah. It was... See, I did love it. I did love the reaction when you know, acting's a great craft once you get. And since I've grown up, I've gone into how deep it can get and how much you can get into a character and really lose yourself, because I think most actors hate themselves, so it's great to play someone else and be someone else. You know? Yeah,
it's a good. I'm fucking up. I'm so nervous. I'm with a real film star kind of thing.
Well, not every actor hates themselves. Let me just correct that one.
Do you think the most tortured actors are the best? Do you think the most tortured creatives are the best?
Probably in all artistic ways. The best artists are probably people with lots of issues and lots of deep-seated problems. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm speaking from experience. I think that's true in music, in all forms of art. Yeah, definitely. Probably.
It's I keep corpsing. Shall we keep it running?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did Lock, Stock come about?
I got a call off my agent, and she said, "Do you want to go down to Palletwood Studios and for this audition?" So I went in there, and there was this guy with a cigar, big cigar, and he swears blind now, Guy Ritchie, that he never had a cigar, and he wasn't smoking a cigar in the audition, but he was, because it was something, it's a lasting memory I've got, and he was reading through really shitly, you know what I mean? He was, and he said to me, he was looking for Drew Schofield, and he'd seen my work, and he wanted to, and in the end, Drew couldn't get hold of Drew. Drew was doing something else. I read for them, and then we did a few. We got so I was thinking, have I got this or not? Because it was calling me back, and we were with a little camera, and then I met Lenny Mclean and all the other actors, and we were just doing the scenes, but I still didn't know whether I'd got it or not. And eventually I read with Victor Maguire, and it went from there. Yeah, that's it. But we did a lot of, we did a lot of work on it, workshops on the script to begin. It was always a great script. I always thought it was a great script, and it was an audition through an agent. Yeah, but he'd seen my work. He knew my work. He'd seen my stuff, man. And guy fucking cast me. Yeah.
Did it change your life? What happened after Lockstock? Did it change your life?
Not financially, no. It was it was this cheapest budget I've ever worked on.
Really?
I was in a caravan with Sting, Lenny Mclean, Jason Statham, all sharing this little caravan. It cost £900,000 to make.
All right, yeah.
Under £1 million. It's made fortunes, and sadly I haven't seen a penny of it. But then we all, we had to wait, and they were looking for investors, and it's a long story, but it really struggled to make it, and it stopped halfway through. We had to wait to get more money, but we all stuck with it, and so no one expected it to do anything, and then when it came out, it was just the biggest. It was the biggest British gangster film, or one of the most successful British films of the decade, and. It was, lock, stock. I go, to this day, I can be walking down the street and a car will go past and they go, "Hey lads, you get the guns, get the fuck," kids, I know the lines, all my lines, because they get shouted at me every day. Otherwise, I wouldn't know them, but I don't watch the film, but people quote it to me day after day. People love it.
It's kind of like going to the British psyche, isn't it? Like kind of thing like. But people have been messaging me, tell him, say, I know fuck all about antiques and all that kind of shit.
What the fuck do we know about antiques? You happy now? Okay,
But do you think it's hard for working class people to break into acting? It's predominantly a middle class kind of setup.
I can see that now. I mean, to be really, really successful, most of them are Benedict Cumberbatch, Eddie Redmayne. They're all, they're all private school. I don't know them personally, but I've heard that they're all upper middle class or upper class. Well, I hate the class system, and so I think to really break it and get into RADA and do that whole thing, you need money, you need backing behind. Move to London. And all that, but I did live in London for a bit, and I hated it. It was like the loneliest place in the world for me. Liverpool's so warm, and people are so generous and nice, and I think everybody's quite blinkered in London, and they do their own thing, and I didn't like it. I came back home.
In London, you need money, don't you? If you've not got money,
and the rent's ridiculous. But now I can be in London in 2 hours and 15 minutes from Liverpool, but it wasn't always the case. But now I can be there for an audition the same day, So.
Has a lot of the work moved up to Manchester, to Media City, or is there still London predominantly the filmmaking capital?
Film is it's always cast in London, but even maybe it'll be set in Newcastle, Liverpool, or even New York, and they'll use Liverpool.
Okay,
Liverpool can be anywhere, or 18th century London, Liverpool. Liverpool has become a film set, but sadly, it's cast in London. So by the time they get to Liverpool, there's no work for Liverpool actors because it's all done in London. And it's for film, it's London. A lot of soaps and stuff, are regional. Media City is Media City, media basically. It's a lot of news and topical programs done there. I've been once or twice for castings, but not much. Do
you think working class Scousers get cast in films stereotyped as like scallies and things like that?
I do, yeah. What I've noticed? I've read a few scripts that got sent to me, and a few productions that I've done like this, and it's always, let's go to Liverpool and kill Brookside. It's like some righteous fucking guy will turn up in Liverpool and kill every actor that was in Brookside for some reason, and it's happened in a few things, and it's becoming a little bit of a trend. Let's go to Liverpool and kill Brookside. Let's kill Sinbad, Mickey Stark. Sorry, Mickey. Sure, Mickey doesn't mind. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do think, you know, all right, man, you know what I mean? Calm down, you know, which is not the case. You know what I mean?
Would you never like to have a part in Downton Abbey? You didn't think they could get you in?
I'd love to bagel Downton Abbey.
They'd have some fucking shotguns, antique fucking rifles and things like that.
Ones there, won't they?
But what do you think the future of entertainment, you know, through this lockdown, this social distancing? I know you've done theatre work. Now, I don't know when the theatres are going to reopen again, and there's all this talk of there's going to have to be fucking spaces between people. Now, how is a theatre going to make money when they can only fill half the place?
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean?
It's about the atmosphere in theatre as well.
And how much a ticket is it going to be, kind of thing. So what do you think the future of, obviously they're not film will always be there, but the theatre, I mean, a lot of comedians now, I used to be a comedian once, it's another fucking story, but a lot of the comedians...
But you've moved on now, mate, you're doing better things.
Well, you know, I'm talking to famous people now.
Right.
I've got Colin, who's my carer, he's on Good Money now on DLA. It's not DLA anymore, it's ESA, isn't it, kind of thing, but...
Well, Colin was going to move one of the tables, but he said it might affect his money, so I had to move it instead, so...
Colin created the magic of Palletwood. He created all this, you know.
Well, actually, Jimmy, this is the future of entertainment. It's like
not actually this, but
this is not giving a shit and doing it properly and being honest and from the heart, right? So, what we were talking about before is like music was always, you know, it was dominated by big studios, you know, recording studios, and you had to get in there to do your album. Now, kids are doing albums in the bedrooms and selling them, and that's how through YouTube and people are getting control of their own art, which is the goal, isn't it? You know, to get control of your own work is.
It is. YouTube's getting a bit shit now with censorship, but there's other platforms coming up. Like there's one called LBRY Library and BitChute and things like that, where are uncensored. The future of social media is like decentralised platforms with what are censorship resistant. We're YouTubers. You say the wrong word, you're on an algorithm. But
well, we're fucked then, aren't we?
We're looking for our accents though. if you sometimes when you see the videos on YouTube and you don't play them, but they're in the list, it'll just show you the subtitles and because the AI can't understand my fucking... Right. It'll be like the purple fucking dinosaur ads and I'm not saying like, hello, my name's Jimmy O'Neill. It can't understand a fucking word I say kind of thing. But
yet, Siri can rap. What the fuck's that about?
It's a lot of bullshit, but music's a big thing in your life. When did you get into bands and guitar and stuff like that?
That was always my thing. I know I mentioned about going, being in plays at school and stuff, but I always wanted to be in a band. I always, wanted to go on tour with a band, and so music. I play a few instruments, and that's always been. I love music, and my son ended up in a band called The Stamp, and went on tour around Europe, and did so. I'm reliving my band career through my son. Yeah, so music played a big part, and I work at the Royal Court a lot in Liverpool, which is a great theatre. Great. It was set up for. It was called Rawhide. It was a stand-up comedy thing there.
I did a gig there once. Yeah.
Right now, it got that successful. They went upstairs into the theatre. So downstairs there's tables and all set up, but it's still a theatre, and it's still done like a theatre. You have a meal before the show and stuff. But it's a great atmosphere, and a lot of it's music, and a few plays I've played guitar on stage, drums on stage. It's been great. It's a great place for that. So I'm lucky right now to be using music in conjunction with acting. Yeah. It's been great.
There's like a connection between music, comedy and acting. I think most creatives can do a bit of each kind of thing. I started off with music, like I said, music, to quote Barry White, was my first love kind of thing. Then I fucked that up. Then I did stand-up, I fucked that up. I've tried acting, I never really pursued the acting. I did 4 years in Manchester with David Johnson. And now I'm doing this podcast, and if this fails, I'm starting a fucking cult. we can
have a word you might get with my agent.
We have people sending us money on. I shouldn't say this because I'm on universal credit, really. But we have people sending Colin money. Colin takes all the money. I don't get a fucking penny of it. You can tell by my clothes.
Well, isn't that the forever our story where the producers and the non-creatives take all the profit? Yeah, we was talking earlier, kind of thing. My take, I've been around the entertainment industry, the gutter of it, for about over 10 years with stand-up and thing. And my view of it is,
it's all about compliance. The world's built on compliance, and they would rather take on an artist who is less talented but more compliant than a wild maverick who they can't control, who's brilliant at what they do, kind of thing. And that is the nature of it. And it goes to the old adage as well. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
I think maybe now, yeah. But I know there's a few heroes, like Richard Pryor and people like that, who were wild mavericks. But there's one or two that they're just their own. They're their own force, and you can't deny them. And you know, if you are that good and that riveting, and it doesn't matter, they will put up with you as long as you don't break the law. And I think, to a certain extent, but and it is a point where I've produced plays myself, and done shorts and stuff, and I will go for people who I know they're good for the start, but I love it when someone's good to work with too. You know, and they're not like, what's my, come on, what's my comedian, and stopping the scenes, and they're just, it's all about them, and they're not working for the project itself and this, the narrative of the play. It's all about what's my character? My character wouldn't do that. But some great actors who just, we turn over and they turn it on and they turn it off when the camera stops.
I mean, like I said, I've done drama lessons for 4 years, and I've never really been on. I've done extra work, but you just treated like a fucking mule, and you're like,
I've done a bit of it myself. Albion Market, I did. Do you remember Albion Market?
Fucking, was you in Albion Market?
Yeah, it was one of my first jobs. Yeah.
Last thing I'd done, it was Cold Feet. And it was all on a fucking buzz, and they had us running up and down stairs, and you thought, what? You stood about it in rain in Manchester, and thinking, what the fuck is this shit? Because I'm not really narcissistic, and because I had a bit of a following from my comedy in Wigan, and I've done a couple of reality TV shows, so I'm a bit fucking deluded. I'm thinking, like, what the fuck am I doing this for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm wasted.
Well, by fucking John Thompson.
But they will. I've often been on jobs, and you walk past a big group of extras who are waiting in line for the dinner, and I stand there sitting in the cars, and you're going to your trailer or whatever, and it does feel a little bit where you want to go, come in here, lads. I have felt like that lots of times where I think it's just not, but they're just, they're not actors, and that's what they want to do. But you shouldn't have been doing that. But obviously you shouldn't have been. But some extras, they love to be on a set and just see it all. But where, as you said, we're a bit long in the tooth, aren't we, mate? So
but some of them are fucked in the head. Some of them are fucking mental.
Some of them.
There was one of them, and it was on Coronation Street. I did some fucking walking part on Coronation Street. I was off benefits at the time, and honest. And he said, and he reminded me of John Wayne fucking Gacy. And he said he used to like be dressed as a clown as a children's entertainer, and he was like name dropping like fucking Dave Benson Phillips or fucking CBeebies, like as though it was fucking Elvis.
Entertainment.
It was like, me and Dave Benson Phillips. So I remember sitting here going, Dave, oh fucking hell, can I touch your sleeve? You fucking knows Dave Benson Phillips. And you get these fucking psychopathic cunts who say, Robert De Niro walked past me, and it's like a badge of honour, and you're thinking, for fuck's sake, it's...
Robert De Niro was one of the least asked about it as well, and a lot, people I've met like that, the De Niros and stuff, they're usually the nicest people, and quietest, and they just want to get away from it, but and it's smoke and mirrors, isn't it? And some people believe the smoke and mirrors, and they believe it all, and you sit with Rob, they'll be scratching his arse and picking his nose, but we're all just human beings trying to get on and get the best out of life we can, out of this one life we get. Apparently, someone said we're all part of one consciousness, having individual experiences as human beings.
Billix,
is that Billix?
Is it Bill? Yeah, I can't actually paraphrase, said the quote kind of thing, but I think about that being we're all one consciousness, and then I go outside Wigan fucking Aldi and think, fuck that, no, I am not fucking part of that. Some fucking scrubber in a shit stained tracksuit lad on floor with a bottle of fucking Jack Daniels.
Well, we can all get there. We can all get there.
I'll be there next week. After this podcast fails, I'm in a shop. There's a fucking shop doorway with my name on it,
Well, there's another question you wanted to ask me. Things, see, after long, and this is a warning. And if I can be an example to any actor, not you know, you don't have to be big in Hollywood to be, you know, to be tempted by the, you know, the demons that are involved around music and art and film industry. And I have been an example of that, where you know, I've got around the wrong people. I've been at the wrong stage in my life, and I've got into certain things where it's damaged my health, my family, my relationships, and you know, it's the wrong people. I think people are more savvy now, but there used to be a lot of people around here going, yeah, try this, have a go with that, and you know, it happened to me. And if I can be an example to any actor, learn your lines, turn up knowing your lines, do your best job you can, and go home. Don't go to the parties. Don't get involved in all that crap.
Yeah.
Go home and do it with your friends and your family, and enjoy yourself there, and don't get mixed up in all that, because it's part of the circle. And I think I'm a bit of a dickhead, but I think I'm not fucking soft, but I got stung by it.
Yeah.
And it was very detrimental, you know what I mean? But I'm lucky that I'm here now, and it never, you know, I've seen actors bring it to work, and I go, wow, you know, but I've been lucky. It was a little blip, but it could have been a lot worse for me.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse.
Did fame turn your head after? Did it turn your head?
No,
Fame after Lockstock?
I've never been, because you know, before Lockstock, I'd done a lot of. If you look at my what's it called? IDMB.
I'm dyslexic. I'm not, never been diagnosed it, but
it's called BIP, isn't it? It's called
BIP.
Yeah, IDMB profile. Anyway, I'd done a lot of work before that, and I'd done like big sitcoms before Lockstock.
Yeah.
So I'd had a little taste of it, you know. So I've never been into fame to a point where I've been all right, you know. It's and maybe that's what happened, you know. I was very anti-fame, you know what I mean. So I just want to work. I want to work and do good work. It doesn't matter what the money is, or as long as it's good work. So it's never really turned me head, and I always had a good family to ground me. My dad was great to ground me. Don't, you know, your dad give you a slap round the head. You got too big for your boots, you know. So no, not that way. Definitely not with me. No.
Was it down London, or was it in Liverpool where you got the wrong crowd? Was it like the parties? Was it showbiz parties down south, or was it
both?
Yeah,
both.
Yeah. But could we talk about your dad? Not in the sense of your dad's passed, but
my dad passed just before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, the guy who picked me up, I was just talking about him, that I was shocked at how much it really hit me. Today, I'm glad I'm doing something and not sitting around. I probably today would be at the cemetery, sitting there, you know, thinking about how much I miss my dad, and what a big presence he was in my life, and a big influence. He was a big, strong, powerful, maverick of a man. He was the first black guy to have a club in Liverpool. He pushed barriers in Liverpool. He was, you know, because people forget what it was like in the 70s, and for a black guy. And my dad had clubs, went back to Africa, brought some souvenirs back, actually 2 boatloads of souvenirs. And so, which is what I said at his eulogy, and was just this legend in Liverpool. Anyone from Liverpool who are mixed race know me dad. So I'm getting through, but it was a big. You lost your dad, didn't you, recently?
I did. It was about 2017, and I wasn't close to my dad because it was just one of them kind of, most comedians, they're close to the mothers. It's a weird psychological setup, and your dad was a distant figure, and my dad would just pop out and say, "Oh, you've done that wrong. You fucked that up," and that's I think. That is kind of, they say about comedy, but I think a lot of creatives kind of thing have that in them. But
that's I would say same. That's why I said it. I was so shocked how much I grieved over my dad, because we rubbed each other up the wrong way. And my mother was always, you know, my mother. I've been on shows, and the producer has somehow got to the house, and he met me mum for 5 minutes and gone, "We wanted in the shot," and she's been on telly and everything. My mother, because she's so, I know I get it from my mum, and we're really close. God, I miss me dad, man.
It's fucking raw. I mean, even though we weren't close and things, and my dad he's battered my mum, and he was really rough and stuff, and never really batter me. It was more like psychological stuff. But I broke my heart. When my dad died,
Crazy.
I broke my heart. But you know, I thought you have to watch your. I'd rather that you got knocked down by a buzz than cancer, because you're watching somebody degenerate daily, kind of thing. With cancer, what did you?
It's crazy. No, my dad was doing 10 miles. He'd be up and down the Dock Road on his bike, fit. He was an ex-ABA's boxing champion, the fittest man you've ever met.
Yeah.
Had a catastrophic stroke. And for 17 months, he didn't have a drink of water, was peg-fed. And I watched the man suffer for 17 months. He was asking me to go, and I was willing him to go. And I know I missed it, but I didn't want to see him like he was. He wasn't the man I met, you know, in that hospice, and for 17 months suffered, which is funny, isn't it, Jimmy? The same thing. Watching them go like that, it is. And you've just said the same thing. I found myself saying, "There's something to be said for being hit by a bus."
Yeah.
Than dying slowly. You know, technology drags us from the grave and gives us a shit quality of life.
Of course.
You know, and it's technology. We've got this, we've got that, and it'll keep you alive. But it keeps you alive when you're a walking corpse. You know, or you're not even a walking corpse. You're laying there. You know.
I mean, they said to him, "You can have chemo. You had stomach cancer." They said it's still incurable. But fair play to my dad. He said, "Well, what the fuck's point to that? You're dying. You might as well." Die feeling not as worse, but they're completely fucked.
Well, chemo was invented, don't you?
Was it mustard gas?
Mustard gas, It wiped out the people who'd survived. They found out they had no immune system had been wiped out. So it was, you know, and it was used then as cancer. So that's what a way to keep someone alive, using mustard gas. You
know, I mean, I got him some cannabis oil off the streets, kind of thing. And he was very. That generation are very. The doctor is right, you know. He has a white coat on. You're not a fucking doctor.
Doctors are gods,
You know, but you know, and I eventually got. It was there sat with the Richmond in his hand saying, "I'm not taking drugs." You know what I mean? So I eventually got him to have the cannabis oil, but it didn't work.
Well, just the last thing on it before we end up in floods of tears is my dad got prostate cancer. Right. This was 15 years ago, and he smoked weed all his life. Not prolifically, but. He liked the joint, and so he got prostate cancer, and he kicked its ass. He really did, and he found out he had a tumour on his pituitary gland, which was making him feel, and he was saying goodbye then, and next minute he was back. And I really think it was the cannabis, and then he gets a stroke. You know,
it's a fantastic plant, but like I said, I lost my mum to a stroke. It's losing you. I don't want to take the podcast on a fucking downer, but it takes you just part of you goes when you lose your parents, kind of thing. But the thing, when you lose someone, you've got two choices. You can go and sit at fucking pub forever, or you can honour the memory and go out and fucking do it. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm planning to do.
Because otherwise, all the struggles of them going about to feed you and all that, it meant fuck all. You know, you see these fellas and women. You know what I mean? They lose their parents and they just go to pieces, and not necessarily with drugs. They just become hermits and never go out. You know?
Well, I always wanted to make my dad proud, and I always wanted to hear him say, "I'm proud of you," and he did occasionally. Not enough for me, but and I've got his name. I have the same name as him. Your firstborn. I don't know whether it's the same everywhere else. You give your firstborn in Liverpool your name.
Yeah, my name was Jim.
It's Jake Abraham, and was infamous before I ever was, and I just want to make him proud even now. I know he's watching over, and the more we talk about them, we keep them alive, don't we, mate? I
mean, my dad he never lost his sense of humour, though. It was always cutting and scathing, and he'd gone to pieces, really thin. He was in an hospital bed, and this young doctor came over and said, "How are you feeling, Mr. O'Neill?" He said, "Fucking belting. I might do some decorating after." And it might not be funny, but it was fucking, at the time, it was like fucking hilarious, like, you know what I mean?
Well, so my dad, you'd have to get him in a hoist, lift the size, it'd take you hours to get him out of the bed and into a wheelchair. And he didn't like it in the wheelchair, so we were trying to get the orderly who had the eye for me mum, right, this guy, I won't actually even describe him. So he had an eye for me mum, and so my dad's in the wheelchair wanting to get back in the bed, and my mum's saying, can you get Jake? And he's going, well, I'll give me 5 minutes, I'll do it now. And Jake and my dad's going, yeah. And he went, give me 5 minutes. And my dad said, hey, you wouldn't be 5 minutes getting there in fucking bed, would you? So they don't lose this. That's the one thing they keep, the sense of humour. You've got to laugh. Only when I laugh. What is it? What was that show?
HAPPY.
That's the one.
I can't remember, but yeah, I think all the best comedy is from a dark place, and
definitely.
Comedy is really from a dark place, and that's the problem with political correctness. The kind of
you can't
sanitise
comedy,
it.
can you?
The kind of you sanitise comedy, and every year the margin narrows of what you can say and what you can't say, kind of thing, you know. And some careers get finished, and you end up doing podcasts that have 15
for saying one wrong word, by the way, one wrong quote, and it can finish a person. Not what they've done in the private or whatever they've done. You know, it's political correctness is a powerful thing.
Oh, completely. I mean, I always go on about this, you know. You know where we're going, Colin, don't we? But
Colin, get the scissors out, mate. We're going to have to cut this one.
I've got the knife I can scrap the table with. But I had a friend who worked at Wigan Council, and Wigan Council have not got, I don't know the bin collection. You have nice purple bins in Liverpool. We don't have them.
Yeah,
you know, we're
still overflowing now. They're not. It's not too bad.
We have green, brown, and black kind
we
of
have
thing.
separate colours. Yeah,
but now Wigan Council don't have the money to empty our bins every 2 weeks. It's 3 weeks.
It's a long time. That's rat infestations because, you know.
That's the one. But a friend of mine at council says, well, they're giving thousands to Gay Pride.
Yeah.
So all I did, I made a little video, and I said, you can't afford to empty the bins, but you're giving money to Gay Pride. I said, I've got a solution. I said, get the fucking gays to empty the bins. Have we got it here?
So the Pink Army came for you. Oh, look at this.
That's my claim.
Comics vile, video nasty. Well, that's a headline, isn't it?
And it says the police came. They didn't. The police didn't come.
But it was a joke.
Chubby Brown says far worse than that. You know
it was
what
a joke. But you know what? You went. The Pink Army come after you, the powerful, and the council as well.
Oh yeah.
Government. You've hit all the bullseyes there, mate. With
it's
that
one of them though. But they can't stop Palletwood Studios. Can they, Colin?
This will be a bygone thing. It's chip wrappers, mate. We'll wrap chips in that.
Fuck them. I'm talking to a fucking film star. What are you doing on your Sunday morning? Crying. But I'm very pleased you've come down here, Jake, kind of thing. I just want to go back to Lockstock, you know what I mean? And I've got some questions from the floor.
Yeah.
Colin has these lads who's sending money on the internet kind of thing.
But he's definitely not claiming, is he?
No, he's buying a fucking Tesla soon. You know, I'm not even joking. You know. I'm sat here with no fucking pants on.
I told you it was literally, this is not a gimmick, this is real.
With Sean, I'm sat here with no pants on, an Oxfam jacket and fucking clothes you wouldn't put a fucking dog in. Colin's buying a Tesla with all these PayPal donations. And but these people need the questions answering.
Let's not forget the audience.
Let's open it up to the floor.
Yeah, go on.
Right, Roger King, he's an alcoholic who lives in Spain. He's always smashed on Campari.
Hello, Roger.
There you go, Roger. That's with a donation. What was Sean Bean like on the set of Sharp?
Sean Bean.
He's meant to be bad-tempered.
No, he's the most. I think he's very shy. Really shy guy, but he's got this intensity that I really liked. I like. We were in. I ended up in Croatia. For months, doing nothing, just sitting around waiting to be used. It was a great job.
Really, yeah.
And this was the iron curtain that just fell. So you know, things were just ridiculously. That's obviously the reason why they filmed there. It was so cheap to film there. And I like Sean. Yeah, he was
the same lad.
And we went on strike. For Sean.
Did you? Yeah.
So we were on this KGB. There was no hotels where we were in Yalta. So we were in ex-KGB compounds to keep us safe. And they would let whoever was in, you know, girls, what it was all going on, right? But not anything like what we were talking about before. It was just keeping us all happy, and there was, you know, decent people around us. But the place was crawling with cockroaches, and it was just getting too much. And Sean was there longer than anyone, so he had more food, and he was getting moved all the time because his room just started getting overflowed with cockroaches and rats. And so one morning we got up and there was no water. So you couldn't even take a shit, you know.
Yeah.
So Sean went, I'm not having it. I've had enough of this. I'm not going to work. So we went, well, okay then, mate. We won't either. And he went, oh, I'll never forget. I can see him saying, thanks for your solidarity, lads. That's what he said to us. And so they were threatening us, you're all going on a black book. But they were breaking the union laws.
Of course.
And so because it was such an issue, we had to bring it to a head. We had to, get Carlton TV were involved, and it was like, you guys won't go to work. So we didn't go to work. And then a Russian guy came in and said, look, what happened was the guy who's supposed to look at the water valve, if it breaks, he turns it off. He got drunk last night. So tomorrow I will have a guy looking at the guy with a gun, and I will shoot. And he was fucking serious. He was going to get shot. This guy, if he didn't make sure the water. He was, in the basement. This guy had to sit in the basement, making sure we had water in the morning. So we did go back to work eventually to make sure this guy didn't get shot. But so that's Sean Bean for you. He's a good lad.
Well, it's a good job that Russian didn't fucking have anything to do with Wigan Council. He'd be shooting every cunt. Fucking my gates are hanging off. The fucking floorboard. If you're more
than the cover of the Wigan, what is it?
The Wigan Evening Post. It's a shit paper read by people in old folks' homes and jail. Really, nobody really reads it. And they haven't finished my career.
No
really.
Chance.
When I start my cult, I'll fucking show them.
No chance.
We've got a few of the lads have asked. Rubber Dub, his name is. He bought a cup of us last week and handle fell off, but
broke his toe.
That's the one. On Lockstock, what was Lenny Mclean like on set? Did he have a row with anybody?
No, he didn't. He was an absolute gentleman, Lenny Mclean. I thought he was on security when I first met him because he just went, "Who are you playing?" And I was like, so he had this sheepy on and stuff, and he was. If you looked at a few outtakes of him, he used to call me short stuff. He improvised. Shoe stuff. He said to me, I've said this story once. You might have to cut this, but when I hear it back, I think, Jake, shut the fuck up. But I can't help saying it. He said to me here, Jake, because we were close, and he knew about my dad for jail and all.
Oh, did he? He met your dad?
Your dad. Yeah. So we're in this little caravan, and he went, here, Jake, help me with my lines, because he was new to. I went, oh, okay. He went, I don't read too well. I mean, neither do I. You know what I mean? We didn't get education, but I learned my lines. So he's got a line that says, "Do you know Harry the Hatchet? Infamous for his removal of digits." Right, that's the line. So I went, go on, and he went, "Do you know Harry the Hatchet? Infamous for his removal of digits." And then he said it again. He went, "Infamous." And I went, "Lenny, it's infamous, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's pronounced infamous." He went, "Oh yeah, good boy." So he's on the set and keep it. So I'm knocking around him, and he was doing it on camera. And I went, "Lenny." And Guy Ritchie's behind him going, and Lenny turned around and he went, what? And Guy Ritchie went, I quite like the way you say that. So it's left into this day.
Yeah.
And it's just a really nice thing, I think, that says it works for his character, infamous. He's not infamous, he's infamous. But, and he was just opening the door for women. He was a perfect gentleman. I loved him. I loved him. And then I remember one day he was on set and he said, I don't feel too well today. He was wanting to, I keep doing this stupid voice.
It's good, I like it.
I don't feel too well today. And he had stomach cancer, but he didn't moan. He done the whole. And then we were at we had a drinks rap party, and he was sitting with his wife, and I went, "I come on, Lenny," and he was really subdued. And I went, "What's Lenny? Have I upset him?" And he was in the last stages of cancer, stomach cancer, and to this day the film's dedicated to him. It says, and if he'd have lived, he'd have been in all the Bond films. He'd have been, and Guy loved him as well. He'd have been. I just smashing fella. I loved him.
It's a tragedy, really.
Yeah,
isn't it? But
loved him.
Was there
he was quite young to die of stomach cancer as well?
Was there a lot of real villains hanging around the set?
No, they were all in the film. They were all in it.
Yeah.
They were all in it. Yeah. Proper villain. And some of the storylines, it's basically proper stories, aren't they?
Yeah. Was Vinnie Jones sound as well?
Great. Yeah, I thought, Vinnie Jones, because of his ongoing, battles with Liverpool at FA Cups and Steve McMahon. Is it Steve McMahon?
I'm shit at football. I don't know anything.
Even though I do football plays, Yeah, so I thought, oh, it's going to be like fucking scares us, you know what I mean? And so, but he was lovely, and his grandmother's from Bootle, and I knew he was a good lad because everyone who worked for him were his old mates from school and his family.
Right.
And to me, that says someone looking after his friends, you know, giving them a job, and wherever he could, he'd have his mates on. He's great, and he's just thrown a little thing my way, but I won't go into that. Yeah. Mm.
But it's good when they help. You give an hand up to the people around you, and you just don't fuck off and sell out.
He took us all to the dogs, all the racing and stuff. Yeah, really.
I've gone to the fucking dogs. Vinnie Jones didn't take me. I took my fucking self.
When I come out my mouth, I knew you were there, kid. See, the kids still,
We've still got it. It's fucking somewhere. I don't know where it is, but somebody called Humongous has asked. They just send me. They send Colin money, so we just have to comply to this.
Humongous amounts of Palletwood.
What was it like working under Guy Ritchie, and how did it compare to Jimmy McGovern? Do you prefer film or TV to work on?
Film. Yeah. But my favourite medium is theatre. But film, and Guy Ritchie was great to work with. Always open for suggestions and ideas. I had a few ideas on it, which was, that scene where we say, what the fuck do we know about antiques? We rob cars and post offices. So we're supposed to be a double act. So I said, Guy, it would be a good idea if we both shared them lines between each other, cars, post offices, what the fuck. And Guy went, yeah, that's great. So we improvised a lot that scene. You go and get the fucking guns where we are. That's an improvisation.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And Guy just come up and say, go on, camera rolling, have a look, do a little argument now, you two. And he was good. I loved working with Guy. Yeah. Guy, I love working with you. Come on, get the phone the agent.
Guy, I wouldn't mind. If you want your fucking shed cleaning out or anything, or your backyard turning over, I'm available forever.
It's a big backyard, you know.
It will be. You won't see my fucking backyard. It looks like a fucking Amazon basin. But I'm not even joking. My laugh's just a
That's
fucking...
the grow you've got. That's the grow. He's getting raided this afternoon. Moving swiftly.
Moving on swiftly. It's not fuck it. I'm not asked. I'm not the lose. I've lost everything. The man with empty pockets laughs in the face of the thief. Bordy asks, did you go to Spark Island, and do you like the Beatles being from Liverpool?
I did go to Spike Island, by the way, the actual gig, because I'm in this film.
Yeah, he mentioned that. Security Dave.
Yeah, Security Dave. Yeah, I did, and I'm not mad on the Beatles. This phony Beatlemania isn't that in the film? In a song. I like to play a few songs of the Beatles on guitar, and I think I love John Lennon and George Harrison. George Harrison was probably wrote some of the best songs, and John Lennon. But I don't regularly listen to the Beatles. No.
Do you think Paul McCartney died in 1966?
Yeah.
Mike over there is big on that one.
I've seen this fella going around Liverpool going, cheers, man, nice one, cheers. I don't think that might be him. But apparently I had this story. He was in a car going past, he'd been to Lippe, because, and a guy shouts, this guy went, Paul! And he went, yeah, man. And he went, I fucking hate the Beatles. He went, so do I. And I was off.
Fair play. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's a legendary story.
We're just going through questions now. Brendan Moss asks, what's your...
Sterling who?
Yeah, that's his brother. But he rides a push and he has a grifter. Where Sterling Moss was the proud one of the family who got an F1 car. They give him a grifter because he's slightly retarded. Only joking, Brendan. What's your thought on the new crop of Liverpool actors? Stephen Graham, Jodie Cromer, is it? I've never heard of them.
Jodie Comer.
Is that right? Sorry, I'm a bit
brilliant. Stephen, brilliant, good mate of mine. I'm so proud. I love seeing a Liverpool lad doing well, and a Liverpool girl. Jodie Comer, I worked with her when she was 15. It's on my Twitter page, the scene, if you want to look for it. And it's from Justice, and I did this scene, and I really, it's one of the few things I can watch myself with her. And she was only 15. I thought, this kid's really, really good. And she smashed it. And I was doing a play, and this kid in it said, I love her. I'm going to marry her one day, this young actor. I went, I'll see if she can come and see the show. And she came. I phoned her, and she came. and she brought some publicity stuff from Justice, which was, she was 15. Now she's won a BAFTA, Golden Globe, Emmy, or whatever. She's won everything. She'll get an Oscar next. But she's a great girl and stunning stunning looking. Stephen's the same, cracking Scouse lad. You know, good. Both of them. I love the pair of them. Yeah, great.
Did you see him in The Irishman?
Yeah. Yeah.
You should never turn up late for meetings or in shorts.
yeah, true, yeah. And an orange shirt as well. Did he have
an orange shirt?
I think it's something like that, isn't it? Orange or some funny colour.
You'll have to try and get him on here. Does he live in America now?
No, he lives in. I can't say this. People might be around us.
Yeah.
He lives in Liverpool.
We have a lot of like school shooters watching these.
I'll give you his postcode in a minute.
Fair play, but if you ever wants to come, Stephen, if you want to come to Palletwood Studios, you're more than welcome.
Stephen, you'd love it here.
We have malt loaf.
Yeah. And tea cakes, apparently. What was that I just said?
Oh,
Tea cake.
A what?
Tunnocks tea cake.
A ton of tea cakes. I've just.
Tunnocks. They have a lot from 1950s.
Wasn't quite a ton, but it was one. Yeah.
The box has not changed from the 1950s.
Yeah.
These were probably fucking dated.
I'm sure Stephen will like that.
But
no,
sorry, it's me. I'm no professional interviewer. I'm just somebody who's just.
Oh, this is how it should be.
I'm just chancing my arm. I've not been trained how to do this. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. How we've got a famous person in fucking knows, but we're just going with it, you know.
I was in Wigan last night. I had a drink. I woke up here. So if someone kidnapped me,
He was telling me earlier he came in his car and people were throwing rocks at him because they thought he was from the future. Welcome back. We've just had a break, a bit of a joint and a cup of coffee. I'm back with Jake from Lockstock and many other things. I want to talk to you about acting now. I did 4 years under David Johnson in Manchester, and I was just approaching doing emotional work, and my father too killed, so I just thought, you know what I mean, I can't justify leaving him while I go prancing about in Manchester. So, do you know the emotional? It's always like, for me, making yourself cry and things like that, putting yourself in that kind of mind state. What is the mentality to get yourself in that zone?
The motivation, you know, for me, usually it's if the script's really good and the words and the character and the scene will get you there. You know, usually, and if the script is shit and the director's shit and the actor you're working with shit and you're having problems getting there. Actors use tear stick, a thing called tear stick, but I've never done it. But usually the words, if you really get into the words and the emotion behind it, and you're in character, you will find that moment, because there's nothing worse than someone forcing a cry. I've worked with some actors who can really just do it like that and just fill the little bottom of their eye. What type of tear do you want? The ones that sit on the edge of your lashes or the ones that roll down your cheek? So, but that's just making your eyes water.
Right.
Really, it's not about making your eyes water. No. It's about seeing it in your eyes. And it's usually in the words. You know, the writer. Usually, the writer's done 6-7 drafts. And you know, you get actors going, "What? Why?" But the writer's already thought of that, and it usually doesn't work because he's on a 6 or 7 draft. He's sent it in 1,000 times. It's his baby. You know what I mean? He's done all the options.
Do you like it when a script's kind of looser, or there's like fucking somebody who wants the words verbatim, saying you said about instead of and?
Yeah, I know, that's theatre.
Yeah, is it more theatre?
Yeah, I'll be on historical stuff where like you can't change Shakespeare, can you?
No,
you know.
No.
So yeah, I like it. My perfect thing is we'll do the script and we'll do the scene, and then you can improvise around the scene. You know, you can change the words a bit or what, but as long as the main information is there. But it depends on the project. Yeah, it depends what genre it is.
Yeah,
or what you know, what fucking what it. Yeah, but I do like, as I said before, Lockstock was there was a lot of improvisation in that, and I see that in a lot of films. I can tell it's been improvised, and you know.
It leads me on to a good question I've got here. Let me just find it. It's rubber dub again. What is the role you're most proud of? What you've ever done? Is there anything what sticks in your mind? Thinking, you know what, that was just.
Actually, obviously Lockstock and Mean Machine, because that was a lot of my words. Mean Machine, because we went back into a sound studio and redubbed. If you look closely, you can see because we got those sports mics.
Oh yeah.
Over your lip, the BBC sports
Yeah,
mics, and you can see just catch our lips saying the different things. So we dubbed a lot of it so I'm quite proud of that, and all that stuff about Watton Jail and all, and about Your Boys Took a Hell of a Beating, which is a known, I think it was a Norwegian sports commentator at the World Cup. Your Boys Took a Hell of a Beating. That was all. Mine and Jason Fleming's idea. So that, yeah, and Justice. Actually, funny enough, when we were just talking about it with Jodie Comer, which was a 6-part BBC series about me pimping out young girls, and it was on at 9:30 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, but it missed its slot, so they put it on before doctors, and I'm pimping young girls, necking 15-year-olds. They weren't 15, but it was quite a good part, and the character's name, believe it or not, was Jake Little. Little Jake. Jake Little, the character's name was, and my dad's known as Big Jake. I was thinking, is this, semi-autobiographical?
So like pimping up young girls, was this before the cameras switched on kind of thing?
This is just at lunch, yeah.
Fair play. You're naturally funny, like a lot of Scouts. The city of Liverpool is full of natural comedians and entertainers.
It is, yeah.
Have you never thought about doing have you done stand-up before?
I'd love to do it. And it's a terrifying thing. You were talking about it. I don't know how you did it, mate. It's the most terrifying thing, but I would love to do it. I'd love to be able to do it, but I know I always thought stand-up comics have a basic narrative and they'll improvise around that. But it's like a script for some stand-up, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a script, but the good ones make it look like they've just thought of it at that moment. And that's great acting to me. That's why a lot of stand-ups are getting into acting now. And a lot of stand-ups are doing all the soaps, not the soaps, the sitcoms and stuff like that. And it's being written around stand-up comics. Yeah. And they're really good. They're acting, aren't they? People don't think, wow, he's a great actor, but he's been acting all his life because he's been doing it on stage. I would love to do it.
It's a weird thing, because a lot of actors said to me, like, obviously not famous ones, saying like they found the idea of stand-up scary, but I would find the idea of acting scary. You know what I mean? In stand-up, most times you just go to a rough pub and you do what you do, hope you get paid. But actors, you've got you're waiting around.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people.
You have to deliver.
Yeah,
you could deliver perfectly the definitive one, and then say, "Oh, fucking light's gone out there." So can you do that again?
Yeah, and it's got to be right on the money again, emotionally Yeah, I agree with you, and like we said before, if you're not scared, you shouldn't be there. If you haven't got nerves, you shouldn't be there. That's what you use as that's your energy, that's your drive. If you aren't scared, you don't care. So forever, let's be scared forever. I agree. What was the question?
Fuck knows. Where am I? What's the most like demanding role you've been in, which like really pushed your skills to the limit?
It's probably theatre.
Yeah,
it's probably theatre. Yeah, which will mean nothing to nobody who mentioned the play. I did a Jonathan Harvey play, which was really, really good. I did a Jimmy McGovern thing years ago. And we did so much research, and most of the work was on the research and the work behind it. And that can be demanding. But the more research you do and the work you do, the easier it should be. Yeah. But the most demanding would be theatre. Yeah. I worked at the Royal National Theatre, darling. I did an Alan Bleasdale play at the Royal National Theatre, which was called On the Ledge, which was a block of flats. It was actually 44 feet high. We were all clipped on and walking around, and that was highly demanding. So and hanging upside down, just painting on it, like doing graffiti. Yeah, that was very demanding. They actually brought in an acrobat to teach me how to hang upside down for half an hour, and he brought in. So I'd be sitting for half an hour upside down. In the end, I just got used to being. Well, I do it now, but I don't do it. It's not in work. I just do that in the pub.
You usually have to pay for shit like that.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Have you ever had any monumental fuck-ups in live theatre?
Yeah, and the audience love it. Actually, the Royal Court, where I do a lot of, which it's great working with the road culture. I'm at home, I can go home overnight, I'm just up the road. And they love a fuck up. They love a corpse. Well, they love a corpse. Sounds a bit funny. Corpse. And if you don't know what corpsing is, that means when you're working with another actor, and you'll be doing your lines. You've done it 1,000 times, and you'll just see his eyes glaze over, and you know he doesn't know the next line, and he'll go, and the audience will catch it, and they love it. They laugh their heads off. They love it. So yeah, that happens a lot. But if you get actors who purposely corpse them,
Really?
Yeah, and do it every night at the same, and you think, no, just let it happen. You know, they'll corpse on purpose, and for months, the audience don't, you know, it works, and maybe the director likes it, or I don't know, I can't speak for them. But it's like, you're like, for another actor, you're like, oh, don't do that again, you know, and it just becomes tedious. But yeah, people love a fuck up, you know what I mean? Here he is, and on that bombshell.
Well, all 15 of you love a fuck up. Thank you for keeping with us, you know. But do you know, if somebody kind of does that on purpose every night, does the director not say, hang on a minute?
It depends on the director, but a lot of directors set the show up, rehearse it, they'll be there until press night, and then they'll fuck off. So that's the reason why actors get away with it, because there's no one there to tell them not to. It goes in a thing called show report, and then the director will get an email about a show report. So the company stage manager will write everything that goes wrong, everything that happened on the show, and then send it that night to the director, the producer, and now the actors apparently. So everybody knows what's going on, and it never gets, you know, I can't speak for every theatre, but sometimes,
Yeah. Have you any advice for somebody, like a younger person, or somebody who fancies having a go at acting? Any advice, or the pitfalls, or whatever?
I mentioned the pitfalls before. That's one of the big ones. Advice to start in acting: if you want to be an actor, and you don't want to commit 3 years of your life to drama school, and you want to know what it's like, join a local theatre company, see if you like it, or maybe a college, and have a go that way, or get a good drama school, and if you're passionate about it, go to drama school.
Yeah.
If you know about if you don't know anything about the industry, or you're not coming from, you know, say for instance yourself, where you've done a lot of comedy and you know a bit about it, and you could just step in and get it. So it's a good agent. Always know your lines and turn up early, and turn up and be present. Which sounds basic, right? But you'd be surprised. God, I'm gonna get hung. So yeah, you know, good agent, you know, and if I could do it again, believe in yourself. I believe it or not, mate, I never thought I was any good for a long. Not any good. I never thought I had a career, or there was such a thing as a career for a working class scouser like myself.
Yeah.
I never believed, but now I look back at my body of work, which is not only recently, I think, no, it's quite all right, that, you know, and I wish I'd have known that when I was 25.
Do you think that a lot of people involved in performance who are doing well and things are always frightened of being found out? You know what I mean? You know, do you ever get that? I never made it or anything like that, but even I've got a following. But sometimes you think, well, what do they follow? What do they follow you for?
But that is like a genuine, you know, that's because you haven't got an ego.
Yeah.
And there's actors with massive egos, but I don't really rate them. Most really are like into the. It's about the script, isn't it? It's about the play itself, and you're there to serve that, you know. And if you enjoy that, all the better, you know. And if you're getting paid well, even, you know, the better. But it's about a good script, you know. You can get some decent work, a good script. Yeah. That's. Have I evaded the question there?
No, it's fine, basically. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but we're doing all right.
It was about advice. Was it about advice?
Well, we went back to that, but as well, people should have to accept they're going to very lean times with not much money. They're not going to go straight to Hollywood and get a Lamborghini and a big fucking
mansion. It can happen. And always believe that, as this is another thing for actors, that right job, one job can change your career. The right job that's great for you and it works, it can change your total career.
Do you think there's an element of luck and timing involved? Yeah. It's not just pure ability, it's just the right place, the right phone call, the right viewing, whatever.
Yeah, the right part.
Yeah.
Like I just said, it can be one part can change everything. I mean, there's great, guys who go to, we mentioned Rada before, them, a great drama school, and he's top of the, he's our best student for years, and then, there's a sort of path. Some people's path is laid out for them. Some people have to dig that path, So it works in different ways.
I suppose the most important thing is if you set out on that road is to not give up.
Not give up and try and enjoy it. Smell the flowers along the way, as they say.
It's not. This is it in it, life, and it's the moments in it. It's not saying I'll be happy when I'm in Hollywood. It's just
enjoy
kind
it
of
now. Be in the moment. That's the and that's what acting is about as well. Being in the moment, which is very hard to do because. You think there's a lot of variables going on, and you're just staying in that moment and being in it, and that's when you'll immerse yourself and you'll be lost in it.
I don't know how you do it, kind of thing. You've got all these people around you watching you, and you've got all these people from set, and you have to kind of just put yourself in this place. And I don't know how do you put yourself in the zone, as they call it? Is it? Do you have to prepare mentally before you get on set and just in your caravan or whatever?
Yeah, sometimes depending on the scene. Yeah, you would prepare. An actor prepares, as this Stanislavski, which is that's everyone's got their own techniques and stuff. But it's focus, a good set. See, the thing between me, that's why I love theatre, because you get the immediate response. You know whether you're touching because you can hear a pin drop, or you know whether because if it's funny because it gets a mad laugh. On a film set, you don't know the reaction until they say cut, and the crew might start laughing but while you've just got to trust yourself in film that you're doing the right thing. Because the director will probably say cut in the middle of it if it's not right. But that's the two mediums are just. I love theatre and I do love film. Yeah.
It's now with all this lockdown and theatres are closed, there's lots of comedians doing online comedy, and I just can't see how the fuck that works, because especially with comedy, your audience is your barometer of how you're doing well.
You just said it for me.
And you could be coming out with the best things, but if it's the silence, you know what I mean? It's.
How can you do a stand-up? Well, funny enough, the Royal Court, I've given the Royal Court a plug. Kevin Fearon, I'm giving you some plugs here, mate. So I worked with Les Dennis, who started up in stand-up apparently.
Yeah.
So
Dustin G.
Yeah. Okay. So he recently did a thing for a lot of theatres ago, putting their old plays in because they record them on set. Right, this is for you guys. We're putting a play up, with donations or whatever, Colin. So. He did a thing called Jegsy. It's about a stand-up comic in Liverpool. I forget the guy's name. Not Mickey Finn.
I met Mickey Finn a few times.
Mentioned a couple. I'll tell you this about. He's a great guy. He's dead now. Great fella. Jegsy Dardens, Mickey Finn. Forgive me for. God bless the guy's name. It's terrible. I know him as well. Anyway, it's about him, and he because of social distancing, Les went into the theatre and recorded this one-man show.
Yeah.
And it's online now at the Royal Court if you want to watch it. Great. It's a great play. So, what was the question again?
The question was basically talking about I said I don't understand how people can do live performance, especially stand-up, to no audience via the internet. So, you know what I mean? You've no feedback.
Yeah. So that's what so ironically, Les Dennis has done this play about a stand-up comic with no audience, recorded, and it's a theatre show. Make your own mind up. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how you can do it. It's like look at the football now. They're playing the audience soundtrack at the back of the football games, like canned laughter. And canned laughter never worked, did it? It was ridiculous. So, no, I don't want to agree with you.
Luckily for me though, my fucking comedy career had COVID-19 fucking years ago, so I kind of fucking prepared for it really.
There's plenty of social distancing going on there.
People have been fucking socially distancing me for fucking a long time, you know. Do you know Craig Charles at all? He's a DJ. Have you ever met Craig Charles?
I've worked with Craig. I've played Craig's character. I've in Red Dwarf episode, series 5, episode 5. And I play an alternative listener.
Right.
He's wiped from the universe and the history, and another sperm is given a chance, and that's my character. And then we both end up meeting each other. And I have met Craig a few times. I knew him at the Everyman and years ago. Yeah, he's all right. So he does a bit of DJing, playing all my tunes, all my life. You know, I'm only kidding with that, but yeah, and I do a bit. I've been known to have a go at DJing because the thing is, my son's godfather is John Kelly. He's a big DJ.
Okay.
Used to do Cream and Amnesia and Ibiza. So I spent all the time with him, and he used to teach me to DJ. So I've been known to do a party or two, and I've actually been paid once or twice to play. I love music. I like playing funk, funky house music, funk. I like raw funk basically, but I played my son's 21st. It was great.
Nothing wrong with that. The reason I asked you about Craig Charles is I did a gig a few years ago in the Lasagowry in Manchester, and I was doing working class fucking comedy jokes, and it was all fucking hipsters and chin strokers wanting something profound. I died on my fucking ass.
How did Craig do?
Well, no, I'll tell you. I went outside after him with my bird at town. I was just sat outside, and Craig Charles come over and sat with us, and he was sound actually. He says, "I thought that was all right." You know what I mean? It just wasn't the right audience and stuff like that. And he was actually talking. He says, and he was in Coronation Street, and he said, I want to do stand-up again. He said, but I can't really do it at the moment because he wants to be really offensive what he's doing, kind of thing, you know. But and that was
well, why can't he if he wants to be offensive? Isn't that the point? Make a point, do something, shake things up. I went to see Craig doing his stand-up, and I from what I can remember, and I ended up not. It was. I think he was supporting Steve Coogan. At the Neptune at the time, now called the Epstein, and he ended up with a lot of his. I think it was guns and stuff he was talking about, and gun crime and stuff. So I would go, Craig, get back on it. But he's probably too busy to do stand up. That's the real reason.
Who's your favourite actor? If you could point out one who you think's fucking hell, you know what I mean? He has something that inspires you, or is it like when you're into music, you can't pick one song because there's so many fucking good?
I mean, obviously, I love De Niro and Pacino, and oh God, it's a hard one now. I keep saying this, and it sounds like I love my favourite actor to work with is Drew Schofield. Although I sort of give him the stage, so I shouldn't. It's not as an actor I should be like, but I just love working with him. There's a few great Liverpool actors you won't even heard of. Actors you won't have heard of, probably. But the obvious ones, De Niro and oh God, I'm forgetting his name. God, and I love him. He's in True Grit. Colin. True Grit.
John Wayne?
No, the second one with the Coen brothers, the new
Bridges.
one. Jeff Bridges. Ask me it again.
So, Jake, who's your favourite actor?
Well, apart from the obvious ones like De Niro, and I do love Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So he's one of the most underrated, I think. There's a lot of underrated, really good actors, although he still does massive films. Jeff Bridges. The older he gets, the better he is, I think. Yeah. And Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley, in Sexy Beast and all
Brilliant.
that. Yeah.
So Gandhi.
Yeah.
It's a Sexy Beast. That's some spectrum, isn't it?
It's going about, isn't it? But The Irishman, I first sat down to watch that, and after 20 minutes I was ignorant. I thought, this is shit. Then I sat there and I gave it, and I got absorbed in it, and the acting,
Pacino.
the acting, and Joe Pesci, and they're all,
Well, fucking
you know, it's effortless in it, and you
Yeah.
think like, I
Did you know Joe Pesci's? It's his real nose. Joe Pesci's nose has just got bigger. Everyone else has got prosthetics on. Apparently, Joe Pesci's that's his nose. But and I think Pacino's portrayal of Dennis Hoffa is amazing, especially the scene where he's bawling out his staff, and he goes, I'm going to jail. I'm going to fucking jail. He's only the realisation when he's in the middle of an argument and he just changes gear. Yeah. He is fucking brilliant.
That's a fantastic scene. That it's a really good film. You know, it's one of the best I've seen for a while.
It's a cracking film. It's Scorsese, isn't it? He's the man.
We're going to talk about Liverpool now. Has it changed Liverpool over the years? The gang culture and things like that. Is it? Would you say?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, there was no gang culture. There was, the gang cultures were like kids who young lads who were having fights outside clubs or Wavertree Road fighting in another area, and there was not money. It wasn't about money. It was about we're going to do use. We're going to do use. Now it's a different ball. It was about, and then it wasn't. It was about single dangerous men. Now it's about groups of people, and some of them you don't even know that. But but there's there's the likes of the gang culture now is heavy. I mean, young kids with guns, they don't even know how to write their own name, but they can use a gun. So it's fucking dangerous, man. What's going on now in Liverpool with the gang thing and arms, And I feel sorry, if people want to kill each other, or you want to box each other, get in the ring, or do whatever you want to do, but don't go killing, Reece Jones and young fucking kids playing football and firing out firearms about. It's fucking dangerous, man, and it's scary, and something needs to be done about, about the bystanders and people just letting off in the street, with no regard, like fucking a Western, it's crazy.
I think the weird thing about social media now, if people see a fight in the street, they're more likely to help people is film it, get the phone out, he's getting stabbed.
I think you get your phone out to phone the police, but they don't get they're getting it out to film it.
Hang on a minute, can you kick his fucking head again?
I missed that, did that again,
The bird texts me, fucking judded, twat him a bit, but
that'll cut.
I couldn't ask you about Liverpool without, have you got any good Purple Aki stories?
Did you know there's a Purple Aki plaque?
Get out.
There's actual Purple Aki, what did we call it? A route? He felt some kid's muscles on Smith Down Road. Then you can go there and you can do the Purple Aki route. So when I was a kid, we were all terrified of, let's feel your muscles. So we were in a gym once, and he just walked in this gym, everyone's, he just walked in fully dressed, stood there, and watched everyone working out in his suit. I think he works for the courts, and everyone was like, and he's like a legend in Liverpool, isn't he?
Yeah.
And these stories, they get dramatised and escalated, and it's worse than he really is. And apparently his dad was an ambassador. An African ambassador. Do you know what?
Diplomatic immunity. Is that true?
Apparently he went back to Nigeria to try and kill him.
Really? Yeah.
To try and kill his own father. Okay. Apparently this is just folklore. I don't know. But what I think, someone's got to do the Purple Aki movie, and I'm not playing him.
Thing is though, they said to kids the bogeyman doesn't exist, but it fucking does, doesn't it?
Does, yes.
I'll tell you, I was dead naive when I was young in Wigan. I had when you're young and you're at weights and you want recognition. Hey lad, you go to gym. I had my world gym top on with a monkey on a bar. I was going through Wigan. This big black fella come up to me and goes, "Do you do weights?" And I was like, "Yeah." You know what I mean? It was Purple Aki, and then he goes, I was still naive. He goes, "Can I feel your muscles?" And I goes, if you want that. And I didn't realise. And I was dead lonely at that time in my life.
I was lonely.
I had no friends.
Is that your plea?
Well, get on to this.
Mitigation.
I had not many friends, and I thought, I made a friend here. And I was going to say to him, where are you going next? And even Purple Aki fucked me off. Because you're all right, pal, Brilliant. You know what I mean? And then another occasion I saw him, and I think I wouldn't let him feel my muscles or something, and he towered over me. It was in Wigan Shopping Centre, the Market Gate. And he goes, you're getting right on my tits. You better go to Wigan. It was like, sound. And I was out to Wigan, and I won't go back into Wigan for fucking till I was like 35, like, you know what I mean?
Did he knock around here too?
He's not far. He's kind of
he was
legendary.
Well, he's a predator, isn't he? Oh. So he's gonna his hunting grounds are far and wide. So there's every story about that man, and it's funny. So a friend of mine's mum said, I met that Purple Aki and he was a lovely lad. You know what I mean? Because he was meeting someone, and it's the whole name Purple Aki, right? Now we're getting into like serious, especially right now. But I know from a few people, someone said, what's your name? And he introduces himself as Purple Aki.
Yeah.
I'm Purple Aki, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not a problem. You know, unless he's feeling your muscles, that's the problem.
What he should do is like stop all his shenanigans and just brand it, and like but all these students and things would be into it, like, you know what I mean?
But, I was raped by Purple Aki. I'm a personal close friend of Purple Aki t-shirt.
There's all these stories about he'd get you and he'd cut his initials in your backside, you know what I mean?
Or even worse than that.
And he didn't. I offered him a craft knife and he wouldn't he fucked me off, like, you know what I mean? But thank you very much, Jake. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you down here.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me.
We'll put all the links you want underneath the video, anything to like your Twitter,
You can still ask a question apparently, and I will answer it on his YouTube page.
Can you tell him send Colin money on Buy Me a Coffee?
Yeah, send Colin money on Buy Me a Coffee. Take it out your PIP or whatever you're using at the time, or whatever funds you're using, or you can send it straight to this man's pocket. Send it in an envelope.
No, ignore that last bit. But if anybody famous who are friends of Jake's would like to come on the show, you're more than welcome, kind of thing. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll be on next week. And thank you, Jake, for being you and coming into my life.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.